And shout out to the GOAT, Dave Spadero. What's going on with you?
Hey, Mike. Sorry about me being late there. My apologies.
It's all good. It's all good. We just chopping it up with the people in the chat, anyways. Great supporter of the Philly Talk podcast. We just hit 15K the other day, and it's all to Eagle Nation out there that tunes in. But
Right
how are
on.
you doing today?
Appreciate the support. Pretty good, Looking forward to Denver, see what's up. I mean, tough loss on Sunday to the Chargers, and you know, this team's got to figure out ways to win games, right, in the fourth quarter. And I thought there was a lot of encouraging parts of the game, but there are no moral victories in the NFL. So, um, the offense. I love the way the offense kind of ran the ball early, really established that, and then they went to the play action. They got a lot of things going to Devontae in the passing game, but you got to get some stops, and the Eagles just didn't get any stops.
Yeah. So, what is your take on the adjustments Nick Sirianni made the last 2 weeks? Implementing a heavier run game plan. Jalen only throwing 14 times against the Lions, and then I believe 19 times right against the Chargers.
Yeah.
Did you think that should have been implemented a little bit earlier in the season with the way things were playing out with some of the opponents and Jalen being a little inconsistent when asked to throw the ball 40, 50 times?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to look back and say that there are a couple of factors I think that were important to consider back then. The offensive line was in and out, different groups from one game to the next. Eagles were committing a lot of penalties, which took them out of chances to play in short yardage situations. So I think Nick has always been somebody who wants to run the football, and I think that's kind of going to be one of his things. He wants to have a balanced offense moving forward. But it was just, look, I mean, early on, everyone was getting to know each other. A really good game plan in Atlanta where they ran the ball a lot. It didn't work out quite as much. I mean, a lot of penalties against the Niners. No complaints with the way the offense moved the ball against Kansas City. Dallas was a really, the game went south very quickly. So I mean, there were just there. It's easy to say, yeah, I should have run the ball earlier. But Mike, let me just tell you this, okay? Eagles ran the ball 24 of their last 27 plays in the first half, right? Everybody's super happy with the run game in the first half, right? Were you? Were you happy with the run game?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it.
How many points did they score in the first half?
Only 10.
10. So, like, I'm always going to go back to you have to get the passing game and you have to get chunks going. And while people are always run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, I get it, yes. But until you get consistency and big plays in the pass game, you're not going to score big points. And we're seeing that with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are getting stifled with their big plays, and they're not scoring points. So, look, it's a work in progress with the Eagles on offense, on defense, with the coach, with the quarterback. There's progress being made. The penalties have come way down in the last 4 weeks, and that's really encouraging. Just got to finish games. Got to make the plays at the end to win against San Francisco, against Kansas City, and then on Sunday against the Chargers.
Yeah, they were the three games that were in reach. Real quick, shout out to Philly fans in Florida with the $2 super chat. He said Dave Spadero, the best reporting on the Eagles. I got to co-sign that. Does a great job. And that's why, he's late for this Eagle show, but he was doing other Eagle stuff. That's why. So it's 24/7 Eagle stuff.
Yeah, I got caught coming back home. I had to do something at home. So I am here in my living room, and apologies for being late.
It's all right. Listen, I have my own problems with keeping on my own track. Family, 3 kids, a wife. But yeah, I agree though. In that game, there were times where I think the run was setting up where I would like to see some throws, right? I would never say because of the limited run attempts we had previous games that I want to see more passes again. But yeah, I think, we were established in the run with Jordan Howard mainly and Boston Scott. Jordan was like 5.7 yards a carry. I wanted to see more play action. I think we did get some good looks with Devontae and Dallas Goedert early. I just thought maybe you can, build off the run a little bit more. But I do agree, 10 points, whether it's only 10 points, I just think the flow of the game really dictates it. And I just think it sets up the high efficient passes.
I'm with you, man. I honestly, I've never gotten into the run pass ratio. It's just, I just don't, I just, maybe it's
It's
a
easy
cop
to
out.
forget when you're winning. It's easy
I
to
just,
forget.
I just think if you execute your offense, you're going to score points, whether you're running or passing. I don't care. If they load the box, throw the ball. If they have a light box, run the ball. I mean, if you have good matchups, throw the ball. The Eagles had a chance in that game against a team that had two of its top three cornerbacks out, and a team that was last in the league in rush defense. And so ultimately, had Jalen hit Dallas Goedert on the first drive, had he hit Devontae Smith at the end of the first half, maybe the Eagles win that game. Certainly, he played great in the second half, but it's not just run the ball more. It's just be more effective offensively, no matter what you're doing. I people get so bogged down in the run pass ratio, and I always used to look at it and go, I don't believe in it because I'm from old school Andy Reid theory where you run early, you get a lead, and then you throw early, get a lead, and then run. So, but to do it, whether you run or whether you pass, you have to execute the offense and you have to execute the plays, and you have to take advantage of when there's times to make plays. And the Eagles did a pretty good job of that at times, but we just didn't see the big play to Dallas, which could have been maybe a score. Devontae for sure would have been a score. I mean, that's a difference of what a touchdown and 14. Well, that's a difference of 11 points right there.
Yeah. Looking at the Kansas City game, I came away of that game liking the game plan. I like the concepts he was portraying out there. Jalen had a great game slinging the rock. Again, I think it's more like at one time it was situational running for me, in the sense of, I think that's where, this group of guys can flourish, is in the red zone, like inside of 20, inside of 10, rushing, just because Jalen Hurts being a dual threat and a rusher his own, right? Some quarterback design runs. I know you don't want to put him in harm's way, but I think the run game, whether it's Miles, Kenny G, Boston, or now Howard, who's called up and doing a great job, I think the inside the 20 rushing is where I was more on it, right? Like because the Eagles early in the season were moving the ball from 20 to 20, even though we were lacking in the run attempts. I just, it's easier to poke when we're losing games than when we're winning the games. You know what I mean?
Sure. Look, I mean, and they're justified. The criticism is justified when you're 3-6. I don't take that away from anybody, and I agree with you. Running the football in the red zone is so important. Had the Eagles been a more effective running team against San Fran, maybe they score on that first and goal from the one instead of running wide, trying to throw the ball, then trying to do the gadget play. And that likely cost this team the football game. But can't look back. I do see improvement there. I think the mentality is right. I like the way the offensive line is playing with consistency. What Landon Dickerson has brought to the mix has been very positive. Getting Lane Johnson back has been very positive, and Jack Driscoll getting some big, good reps for him. So I think the Eagles are moving in the right direction. They just got to do it. We had seen in previous games, first drive touchdown, 4 or 5 drives where there's nothing going on. They seem to have overcome that these last couple of games, and so hopefully that's a sign of more good things to come.
Yeah. Now, to get on the defensive topic, I know that is pretty big right now, and I know if you just rewind it 1 week ago, we shut out the Lions, who are winless. Before they play the Eagles, they were getting talked up as a really scrappy team. They're winless, but they're in every game. They were a miracle kick away from Baltimore. Blah blah blah, and we shut them down. I do see a pattern, though. If the quarterback that we are playing against is maybe a C plus or lower, if you're just trying to grade them, we play a different style defense. And if the quarterback is B plus or higher, and you could throw Derek Carr in that situation, 5 quarterbacks completed 80% passes on us. What is your take on just the philosophy of just bend but don't break?
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants. I don't think anybody really wants to bend but don't break. I don't believe that is a philosophy. I believe what Jonathan is counting on is the defensive line to dominate, and we saw that in Detroit. When they played the Chargers, the D line didn't get near Justin Herbert, who was getting the football out very quickly. They were chipping the pass rushers. this is a very common formula that teams are going to use against the Eagles. Chip, 4-man rush, no problem. Where the Eagles need to get better is and Jonathan dialed up a blitz or two. They just didn't get to Herbert, and they gave up some runs on it too. Um, he's playing man a little bit, but it's off man. They're not playing up in press.
Yeah.
So his big philosophy is don't give up a
Explosive
big
plays.
play. Explosive plays, exactly right.
Yeah.
So that's great, but when you have a tie game and there's 6 minutes left, you have to force the issue somehow. And the Eagles weren't able to do that in that final drive. So what's the solution moving forward? I don't know. Darius Slay has a hamstring injury. We'll see where he's at this week. Avonte Maddox has been banged up this week. The Eagles have had to go deep. Went against the Chargers, went deep into their secondary depth to Andre Sachere and guys like that getting some time. McPherson, yeah. So it's a tough situation. I mean, that's why they're signing all these D-backs. That's why they want to bring them in, see what they've got, and hopefully develop 2 or 3 of them. But really, it comes down to the pass rush and the D-line. And if you're only rushing 4 and you're rushing against 5 and a chip or 2,
it's hard to get home.
Yeah, and look, Teddy Bridgewater this week's a good quarterback, and Denver has a really good running game, and they've got really good receivers. So another tall, and then after that it's the Saints, who have got Alvin Kamara, but they don't have Michael Thomas. They don't have the quarterback. So and then you're getting into the Jets, and then the NFC East, and then blah 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 blah. So it's a tough call to really. The defense is struggling to find out the right formula to have success. Against Detroit, the D-line dominated and the coverage dominated. So if you can duplicate that with a great pass rush, with a great performance against the run, then your back 7 can do a really good job. I'm not sure the Eagles have a whole lot of other options right now.
Yeah, I think the Eagles cleaned up some of the rush defense when switching, getting TJ more playing time. TJ Edwards, I think he's our most active linebacker when it comes to stopping the run. I think Alex Singleton in a more sprinkled in role helps him. I don't think he can fight with the every down back. Being a smaller guy, he's still a trooper. He tries, and he made some plays in a limited role. But look, my whole
Davion Taylor.
Oh yeah, Davion Taylor.
He's on the come. He's on the come.
He's definitely on the come. I do like the Davion Taylor, TJ Edwards starting duo. But when I look at Gannon's scheme, I think he just does to me, again, this is me just talking as a fan now, right? As a fan who watches some tape, but I'm not Fran Duffy with the X and O's. I just think when he gets a quarterback that is respect worthy, he puts the utmost respect on them and really tries to stop the explosive plays. Like I heard Jonathan Gannon talk today, and he's like, we saw them attack deep and then playing us like a lot of people do. The Chiefs like to attack deep, Cowboys like to attack deep, Tampa likes to attack deep, and now the Chargers like to attack deep, but they're not tacking deep. They're tacking short intermediate is because we're giving that up because of the heavy zone we play. And when we do play, man, it's press. It's off, man. I just would like to say this. There was like a 3rd and 7 early in the game when we were pinned down. Darius Slay is pressed up on him. Nelson now is playing like 8 or 9 yards off, and that was like a pitch and catch for a first down. I just think we're dying by one score.
You want to take chances.
We're dying by one score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you, but that's just not what Jonathan believes in.
Correct. And I think I'm definitely not the one who just wants to see a 60-yard completion for a touchdown. I just think as he says, when talking, he needs to do a better job mixing up. You can still favor the zone. I'm not saying go all man. I just think mixing it up will be a little bit more traditional. And I do agree when he says he doesn't want to put too much on these players in the first year scheme and their first year on the Eagles with disguising and all that. I understand that too. And we did play some good quarterbacks. I don't want to act like we're and if you look at some metrics, we're like in the middle on, points allowed and certain things. So you could look at your numbers and they can skew you. Wow, this is a horrible system. And it's not the worst. I just think via the eye test, I think it's almost, you know, I think we played a good defense against San Fran. Jimmy G, we got at him a little bit.
Atlanta, San Fran, good D. Detroit, good
Carolina.
D. Carolina, good D. None of those teams have really good quarterbacks at this point.
That's my thing.
That's your whole premise, right? I get it. I mean, look, this defense is going to change a lot over the next year or so, whatever, with personnel. They're gonna, I believe, with these 4 high draft picks, you're gonna see the defense get addressed a lot, and so you can rebuild the defense. And but look, disguise coverages. You've got a veteran secondary. There's no reason why you can't disguise coverages.
Yeah. Yeah, even Anthony Harris, being implemented. I mean, everybody's learning this. Everybody's under this scheme for the first year, but they've been around. I believe they can handle it. It just comes to the point where, again, he's a young coach. As much as we criticize and we comfort Jalen Hurts for being young, Nick Sirianni, who I believe is a little bit off the radar because hey, this is a passionate fan base. We love hard, and that's why we talk the way we talk, just in a general consensus. But I just think that he's going to eventually realize that he got to just do a little bit more when it comes to attack and let the chips fall where they fall. I still think, you could blitz in the zone, you know what I mean? Mike, I
think they blitzed a little bit more than they had been blitzing, and they got gashed. And
yeah. But when you send TJ Edwards and then you drop Barnett out to cover Jared Cook, it's like, ouch. You know what I mean? Jared.
Yeah. I mean, that was a tough play. I know exactly what you're talking about. Look, the defense is trying to find the right mix to have success. And again, if Hargrave started the season man on fire, cooled down quite a bit. Fletcher has yet to really be Fletcher. Barnett's, working hard, plays hard, but the Chargers were not letting anybody touch Herbert. I mean, Herbert was getting the ball out. He's mobile. He ran away from pressure a couple times. Losing Brandon Graham was not a good thing for this defense. Josh Sweat has been okay. So look, man. I mean, I wish I had answers for you because we're all watching the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, again, this is a transition year. We only won 4 games last year. I know nobody wants to hear that, 4 games is supposed to turn into 6 or 4 is supposed to turn into 7. Philly's been an organization that knows how to bounce back quickly. And we are setting ourselves up via the draft, via, salary cap to make a bounce back performance. I think Gannon has to, and I was upset, man. Reaction Monday was a little rough for me. It was really rough for me, in the sense that I kind of said it in my pregame. I said, Justin Herbert's on a 2-game skid. He 50% of his passes he completed against the Ravens and the Patriots. I know our defense ain't theirs, but I thought, Gannon coming off the Lions game, he'll mix it up a little bit and make them.
If you look at the blitz numbers, Herbert destroys blitzes in his 2 years of NFL play. And what had been happening against the Patriots, against the Ravens, the defenses were dropping out, 4-man rush, but the windows to throw in were very tight. Eagles didn't have the coverage. Herbert didn't have to throw through tight windows. Guys were wide open. So it wasn't like they were challenging Herbert with his throws. And that's everybody's focusing on the pressure. I get it. But the coverages have to be better.
Oh yeah, I agree, but that's also where I go into, Slay is not, the Pro Bowl Slay he once was, but I still think, he could do some stuff in man coverage. He got beat over the top by Mike Williams. That was just a beautiful throw by Herbert.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great play.
I mean, Herbert put that. Now, that's why Herbert's one of them ones 2 years in the league.
Mike Williams made a diving great catch. So
yeah. That was one I was definitely.
The Chargers were just better than the Eagles on that play.
Yeah. It was one of them things where you just got to tip your hat off. I said it, again, I reaction, but when you see the replay and you see the diving attempt that falls only where your receiver can get it, it's just, you just got to tip your hat off. And by no means do I think the Chargers are a bad team. I just thought being in the skid, I wanted the Eagles to prove more that, we are not the get right team on for a team that's in a slump, right? The Patriots by no means are world beaters at this point. So I thought, what? This defense coming off the Lions performance, we could go out there and shake some things up. And you hear them talk about the fact that, teams are going to get the ball out fast on us and they're going to chip block our four pieces. I just think at that point, you got to bring maybe not everybody up. The safeties might be able to stay back, but get these corners up a little bit. Make them earn their paycheck.
You just want big plays. You just want big plays. You're just tired of seeing the defense bleeding slowly. You don't want to see 15 play drives anymore. If the other team's going to score, then let it be. Risk. You want a high risk defense, don't you?
Not like not no Greg Williams, zero blitz and all that stuff. I just think you can play back, looking at what Jim Schwartz did, right? I think he was able to mix up. Last year we played a lot more man than we are this year, right? Like you said, Gannon sprinkling it in, and a lot of people got on Jim Schwartz for the stick defense and the stick defense and the
lack of blitzing. And
the lack of blitzing.
Yeah. That was the whole thing with Schwartz. But look, it's the NFL. I really think that the Eagles will continue to invest in their defensive line. If you can have a super defensive line, you can do a lot of things. And when the Eagles had that against Detroit, no problem. But when Fletcher's not getting there, when Hargrave's not getting there, when your edge guys aren't getting there, you can't cover in the back end. That's just not the way it works in the NFL. And the Chargers have the same scheme as the Eagles. So their defense wasn't particularly impressive either. That's just kind of what's happening in the NFL. You need to have those great individual pass rushers.
Yeah. I agree. It always starts up front on both sides of the ball. And I like how we address that. Real quick, looking at the Denver Broncos, we're going to get off here very shortly. Do you think they're more of the team that played against the Dallas Cowboys, who just rose out of nowhere and just dominated them in every facet, or more the team that was just trailing under 500? And it's tough to play Mile High, but do you feel like, that we could bounce back and get a road win? We do win on the road somehow.
Yes. To answer your question, yes, the Eagles can definitely bounce back and get a win. Tough environment. You've got to deal with the altitude, first of all. Got to deal with the Orange Crush fans. Their defense doesn't have Surtain now.
No Vaughn.
It's not a great defense. The offense, they run the ball really well. They've got a two-headed monster in the backfield. They've got good receivers. Can the Eagles win the game? Yeah. Here's what's like. On Sunday, the Eagles had a lead at halftime. Their third time this year they've led at halftime. They led against Atlanta. They led against Detroit. So I'm thinking, all right, we got this thing. We got this. We're in good shape here. I felt it all the way through. Until that last drive. And so I just think that a young team will learn from that. Now, the Broncos, Teddy Bridgewater's a veteran quarterback, but you tell me, what's his grade, Mike? In the Mike,
we coming for him. This is gonna be the game where the defense looks good.
You're telling me what's his number? Is he his letter grade? Is he a C plus?
I would rate him as that's C plus. He's a 20th 20 out of 32 quarterbacks, 21.
So you feel good about this game then?
Yeah, why not? If there's going to be a game, I just want to be like, I would like to see that the Eagles can, we did compete though. It was a competent football game that we saw via some mistakes on defense, but 27-24 loss. When you look at the box score and look at it, the bird's view, it was good. It's just, I think we are in such transition, a lot of people, and it's easy to critique now, but I do think Denver, will be a team that we can put our stamp and say we beat a team that was 500, because the Jets, the Giants, the Washington football team, they're going to be under 500 when we play them. And so the Saints will be.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know. Let's just go out there and see if this team get better. Finish the game strong. Don't start off 14-0 behind. Stay balanced offensively. Take advantage of your opportunities. Like, there's going to be good matchups for the Eagles in this one. I like to see Dallas Goedert get involved a little bit more.
Me
Um,
too.
um, Defensively, would love to get a takeaway from Bridgewater, who's prone to that. But otherwise, Denver's pretty strong, man. They got some good. They got a good O line. They got good weapons. It'll be a tough one for the Eagles. I didn't. I kind of before the Dallas game, I would have told you I think the Eagles. This Denver team's not that good, but the game against Dallas, and I know Dallas didn't play well. They had dropped passes. Denver just played such an impressive game. They will be ready on Sunday. So it's going to take a great effort by the Eagles. It's going to take a great effort by all of us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And once again, thank you for coming on, Dave. Last question: from week 1 to now, did you how much did you see Jalen Hurts improve in just a short 9 weeks? Do you see? You don't have to go into heavy detail, but would you say you definitely saw a little something, or do you think he's?
Well, I think he's a lot of something. I think he's been really good in ball protection. He's been really good in the red zone. He's been good in short yardage when he's had the opportunity to be in short yardage. He's got great skills throwing the ball and running the ball. I never thought that, like, there was anything overwhelming to him. That even that first wow moment, I don't think it was ever like a big, hey, I'm in the NFL. Wow, I'm really gonna sweat this out. I don't see that with him. I see a mature, polished guy. He's got to get better from the pocket. He can't miss receivers who are open in the red zone, in the touchdown, in the end zone. He started 13 games in his career, so he hasn't played a full season in the NFL. So I like him. I like him. The goal is to be a top 10 quarterback. Can he get there? Can he become a top 10 quarterback?
That's the goal.
Quarterbacks, a lot of good ones in this league. A lot of good ones in this league.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And once again, shout out to everybody in the chat. We got about $1.60 something in here still. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Dave Spadero, hardest working man in Eagle Nation. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Mike. Philly Mike, enjoy. Great podcast, everybody. So glad to be part of it. And go Birds, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go Birds.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Mike. Have a good one, brother. Take care.
Peace, peace. Shout out to everybody who came through. We going to chop it up for 5 minutes. My wife is texting me. I got to go. Appreciate y'all for coming through. It's still hurt season in my book. It is too. It's hurt season to the end of the season, regardless. It's hurt season to the end of the season for me, regardless what happens. That's my quarterback until the end of the season. That's simple. Simple as that. Let me just make sure. Wayne said Gannon is not afraid to blitz Bridgewater, but won't bring the heat against Carr, Brady, or other quarterbacks. That's my whole thing, too. That's my whole thing. Mr. 89 said, I still have faith in Hurts. Listen, I thought Hurts played a great game against the Chargers. He did miss 2 throws. It is what it is. I saw Herbert, who looked terrific, miss 2 throws. One of the third downs one of the reasons we got the ball, I forgot who it was. McPherson was playing 20 yards off of one of his receivers, and Herbert just threw it out of bounds. He was wide open. You know what I mean? So we got to see. But shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's get this to 100 likes. I'm not sure if it's at 100 likes. Dave Spadero was tired. You saw that, man. He was tired. I was trying to keep the straight face, but you know what I mean? He's a hard worker. And when he told me he can come on yesterday, he texted me like around lunchtime and said maybe he can't do it. Then he said, you know what? I don't want to let you down. He moved some things. So you could tell this man was busy. And I appreciate that he gives me the time of day to, he could have said, man, I'm busy. We got to do it another day. You know what I mean? But he tried to rock out with his word, and I respect him for that. And he's always behind the scenes doing stuff, Eagles related and all that stuff. So gotta love it. But with that being said, we're going to have content the rest of the week. I'm going to try to look at the all 22 tonight and look at some of these things, right? Look at some of the so-called blitzes that were, because there's an article out saying he blitzed this game. I don't know when and where he blitzed. If you count sending TJ Edwards and dropping Derek Barnett back a blitz, that's +1, -1. That's still 0. That's still 4. Definitely got to bring the corners down. Other teams are chipping and keeping tight ends and running backs out back there. Gotta bring the corners up. With all that being said, shout out to everybody in the building. Hit the like button. Let's get us just to 100 likes. And we are out. Peace.